Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 77 of FTB Revelations with Direwolf20, where today I'm making a Lucerna crystal. Yay. So that we can prevent mobs from spawning near my nuclear reactor. I feel like a creeper showing up and blowing up the fusion reactor probably would be a bad day. Actually, no, that's not where I wanted to go, is it? I wanted to go back this way. One of these days I'll remember all my different teleporter networks and where they all lead to. And maybe why I have more than one. So we've got the copy-paste gadget here ready to go. Can you not go right here somewhere-ish? Oh, I see. You're not in place on top mode, are you? We want you to go up one. What's your deal, buddy? You're being weird, Mr. Copy-Paste Gadget. Maybe I should clear... Oh, I'm in copy area mode, that's why. Ho 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 ho. Dire, please. See, you start recording before you have your coffee. I don't even know why I'm in copy area mode. I would think I would be in paste mode. But then why was it draw on the thing? There you are. That's better. Alright, where can I set this dude up? That would not be in a bad or weird spot. How about, like, parallel to this? Does that make sense? Because that kind of fits right in between there, doesn't it? Does that look cool? I think that looks cool. Yeah, let's do that. You go in there, buddy. And then this, and then this. And no more mob spawns? Theoretically? Hooray! No more mob spawns. Nice. Alright. So now if I were to teleport away, mobs should despawn because there's no player near them, right? And then I teleport back, and we should see no mobs anywhere. Hooray, Minecraft mechanics. So I've been letting my fusion reactor run a little bit. He's still not quite to the temperature I'd like him to be. But our efficiency is absolutely climbing, right? We've reached 20% efficiency. We're hitting 18,000 RF a tick, right? And I don't think we're burning hydrogen any faster than we were before. I think that stays pretty steady. And you can see we have a net gain on hydrogen still, right? So that's awesome. Look at that. That is cool. Now... Part of me really kind of wants to like play the game of fusion reactors like I did with fission reactors, just to try it out, right? If we look at the fuels here, right? Hydrogen plus hydrogen equals deuterium, right? And we're storing all the deuterium in that black hole tank, right? And that generates base power of 44,000 RF a tick. Now that base power is assuming that you have a size 1 reactor. And a size 1 reactor doesn't have any fusion connectors. So we have a size 2 reactor because we have 1 fusion connector, right? And the more fusion connectors you build this out, and the bigger the ring and the larger number of electromagnets you have, the more RF a tick and the faster it'll burn through fuel. Pretty sure that's accurate. So our base power gen here is 44,200. We're going to have more than that because we have a larger reactor than that, right? And that's why we're already at 20,000 at only 20%, right? So we'll have about 5 times that. So we should hover around 100 to 130,000 RF a tick, I think, is where we're going to land once we hit max efficiency. But we'll have to see. Because it's not like 20% efficiency equals 20% power. You're going to actually have a little bit more than that, right? So we'll, I think that's how it works. We'll find out. Anyway, the point is, that's making deuterium, right? Now, if we got hydrogen and combined it with deuterium, we would get helium-3 from that. And that has a base power of 112,000 RF a tick, right? So just like the fission reactor fuels, you burn cheap, low-energy fuels to generate stronger, higher-energy fuels. For some things. Some things that's not the case for, but some things it is. So that's your base combo lifetime there. Like that's a little bit longer too. So the fuel lasts longer, and you get more RF a tick. So overall, it's just all around better, and it's a lower optimal temperature too. It's only like 1245. So that's neat, right? And that'll generate a huge amount of RF a tick and produce helium-3, right? 112,000 RF a tick for helium-3. Now, if we took helium-3 and combined it with helium, we will get 303,000 RF a tick, which is a higher base power than any other combination that I've found thus far. And it has a base combo lifetime of 200 ticks. So basically the fuel lasts twice as long as straight up hydrogen, and it generates like 6 times as much power, basically, roughly. So that's pretty cool. The problem is we just need to combine all our hydrogen into, deuterium, and then combine more hydrogen with deuterium, and then combine even more hydrogen with helium. But we could easily, like now that we're producing lots and lots of power, we could easily ramp up our hydrogen production down here with more electrolyzers, and then we could, maybe set up a few more reactors outside up here. We could have like 3 reactors going on, like one that would be the deuterium one, and one that would be the helium one. Does that sound like fun? And I mean, we could generate a lot of RF from that. I mean, a lot of RF. Potentially. But the first thing we want to do before we get to that point is we want to cool this reactor, right? We want to prevent it from, having a problem. Now, if I were to tick accelerate you now that we've got such a backlog of hydrogen going on, how bad of an idea would that be? If I tick accelerated him once, are you going to have trouble keeping up with the hydrogen? Twice? 3 times? Still keeping up with the hydrogen. All right, not too shabby. Now we're going to have a net loss here during the tick accelerations. Wow, even 4 times you're keeping up. Nice. All right, cool. I don't know if I want to go much higher than that, but yeah, that's pretty good to know. Now we're going to burn through our hydrogen. Look, we already burned through, like, did we have 600,000 last time I looked at this? Yeah, that's burning through a lot of hydrogen. Wow. That is a pretty significant amount of hydrogen burn right there. All right, tick acceleration must have ended. Nice. And we boosted ourselves up to 34% efficiency, and we're at 30,000 RF a tick, so that's pretty cool. All right. I think what I'm going to do is let this thing heat up a little bit more. Then I'm going to do the active cooling, and then we'll see about using our deuterium in a second fusion reactor. Whew, I'm requesting 240 energy upgrades. Oh, that is a lot. Speed upgrades as well at that point. The reason I'm doing that is I'm making more electrolyzers in advance of and prepping for this, right? And I mean, that's going to take a really long time, so I'm going to super tick accelerate all the things. That should be cool-ish. Yeah, so my plan here is make 4 more electrolyzers, right? Because 5 electrolyzers is more... 4 was about what we needed, right? Is that where we landed? Was 4 was like a break-even point on the fusion? I believe that's the case. Right? So if we look at our fusion core, right, 100 ticks and we use 2 hydrogen, right? So if you think about that, right, we're using 2 buckets of hydrogen every 100 ticks. Okay? Now with this combination, it's 1 bucket of hydrogen every 150 ticks. So it's not even half as much hydrogen. It's a little bit less, right? Right? Because the lifetime is longer. And this one's 100 hydrogen every 200 ticks, right? So if 4 was enough to handle 2 at 100 ticks, then 9 should be more than enough, I think, to handle these 2. So if we made 9 hydrogen-generating electrolyzers, right, with full stacks of stuff, we should be cool. I think that's an accurate assessment. Back in a few when it's ready. All right, so let's get this thing hooked up while we're waiting for... all the other cool stuff to happen. So there's electrolyzers. There's going to be water underneath. So we've got you, and we've got you. Cool. So you guys are going to be... Oops, that's right. I made my crafting stuff from Astral a second ago. Insert on blue, not extract. 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 Cool. And then you just need power. And nuclear craft upgrades. We should have 4 stacks of these guys crafted by now. Whoops. Oh. That was a lot of radiation. Oof. That hurt. Just a little bit. That's a problem. I actually don't know what to do about that. Do I have a way even in there? I probably need a pickaxe of some kind. How do I get that resolved? Alright, vacuum, ranged, no, vacuum hopper of some kind. Yeah, or a ranged collector. What would be the best route here? Ranged collector. Right. I have a plan. Item conduits. And a chest. I have a plan. I'm like, how do I collect my corpse when my corpse, as soon as I pick up the items that are on it, will, like, destroy me? That's a really good question. Hey, why are you making noise? Oh, right, because my thing is not there. Right. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm going to do this, this, this. I think I can... Can I do this? Is there a way to do this without the thing? It'll be fine. And you can be an empty blacklist. Cool. Ah! Radiation poisoning. Oh, right, because things. Well, hopefully they will at least pick up now. What I also wanted then, therefore, would be extract speed upgrades would probably be cool. Yeah, when they're on the ground, they tick. So, radiation. Right. Direwolf died due to fatal radiation poisoning. Whoops. I hope they don't tick inside that iron chest, because that would be troublesome. I can do this, guys. I got it. Did it pick it up yet? It might have. Hey, why aren't you? Oh, right. Oh, good. I got this thing. North, insert, not extract. South, extract speeds. Sweet. Hey. South, extract, always active. Now we're cooking. Pick it all up. I think I did it. What's my Geiger counter reading over here? Probably nothing good. Oh my goodness. Immune for some seconds. Okay. Wow, look at that radiation. 40 rads a tick. That is a bad time right there. Put it away. I might die here. Yep, totally dead. We're gonna have to scrub that radiation just a little bit. I'm sure you guys are loving this. I am sure you are. Alright, so the radiation should be no longer building. Which is probably good. Okay, good. You guys are doing that thing. Sweet. Alright. So now, I just have to figure out how to... Actually, where's all my armor? Because I should have armor on. Where did my armor go? Is that weird or am I crazy? Oh, there it is. It went in there for some reason. Okay, did I do that? I might have done that. I don't have any idea how that happened, but... Okay. Armor's on. Let's go die back at our house. We have all our stuff, almost. I'm gonna put away a few things for a sec. Okay. $20 rads a tick, so we're getting there. So, I mean, the radiation should get cleaned up by the scrubbers, right? I think. Anyway, let's organize our stuff. All right, I'm going to clean this up and be right back. Well, the good news is that chunk is actually cleaning itself up. It was pretty high radiation for a second. But it does seem to be cooling off a little bit, I guess you could say. And this chunk is nice and zeroed out. So what should happen is over time the radiation should spread out. And it should spread into this chunk where it'll get cleaned up a little bit. Both these chunks, really. Well, at least I did this over at, you know, my nuclear site where I'm supposed to have radiation. See, look, it's already better. 10 rads. A little bit of time and we'll be all right. I wouldn't mind taking a quick peek at how you're doing, though, buddy. Your efficiency's chilling at 53%. Nice. All right, back in a sec once it cools down. So the problem, by the way, was caused by the fact that I don't think I'm processing my depleted HECF, right? I don't think we need mineral wood in here anymore. So if I were to get one of these guys, which is high radiation, by the way. You should be processing? Nice. Okay, cool, that works. That was the problem. I never set this up for processing, so yeah. Whoops. That's highly, highly radioactive stuff. Oh, goodness. I mean, we're getting there. We're at 6. I feel like by the time I set up the scrubbers, it would be like, you know, meh. I'm going to try this real quick. I just need bioplastic. I thought that's what I needed. Oh, hang on. Then no. Radx needs bioplastic, yes. Not that much. Maybe 100 should be fine. Yeah, we're getting there. So Radx is like... Is that going to protect me? I mean, a little bit. Still high radiation in this chunk, though. Still not quite protecting me. I mean, I can survive a minute, but it's not great. Well, it should be cooling off a little bit. Maybe I should consider my scrubbers or something. See, the scrubbers don't actually do anything. I just placed them to test. Maybe it's removing 23 mRads per tick. All right, that's not too bad. 28, 24, 31. Yeah, I mean, it'll remove it a little bit faster, I guess. All right, guys, we're back. So the radiation settling down, 173 millirads per tick. Not great. Not terrible, but not great. It's calming down a little bit. The scrubbers are doing their job, I believe. I wound up putting them up here because it was dropping pretty rapidly, and then it wasn't dropping that rapidly. So it's actively removing radiation, which is cool. Not super efficient, not perfect, but I mean it'll clean up and it'll spread and it'll be fine. So everything's gonna be okay. So maybe get rid of the ticking noise. I can do that and just munch on some rad away every now and then. Long story short, I think what I want to work now on is cooling. So where are we at with this guy? Let's see, because I made a couple things. Let's clean up this area a little bit. I got all this hooked up, so that's cool. So they're all producing lots of hydrogen. And the reason I decided to hook them up now rather than later when I need them is because I've been doing a little bit of tick accelerating. Somebody might have accidentally broken the fusion core while he was doing some work around the base a minute ago, so it got completely reset on efficiency and everything and had to restart it. I'm not going to say who that was, but it might have happened. I'm just saying. So I tick accelerated my way back to where we were, which helped, but it needed lots of hydrogen to do that. So turning those things on helped. All right, so with this running again, right, what we're looking at is we're sitting around 41% efficiency. We're sitting around 37-ish thousand RF a tick. So getting pretty good, right? We're halfway up the efficiency ladder. Let's get cooling looked at, right? So to get cooling going is really easy on these guys. Like really, really stinking easy. Basically, you just put an active water cooler somewhere on the fusion electromagnet ring. And pump some kind of coolant into it, similar coolants that you can put in the nuclear reactor, the fission reactors over there, right? So like, you know, your standard coolants, like, you know, redstone or quartz or gold or glowstone. But water is really just fine for fusion. And it's like almost comically easy how easy it is to get the fusion cooling going. So let's look at what this means, right? So if we were to get a sink, right, and we were just to plop that somewhere along this here line, let's put it right here. And then we had ender fluid conduits, and we had the sink be extract always active and the down be insert, right? This guy will fill up with a bucket's worth of water, and you'll see that he drains a little bit of water every now and then. It looked like about 40 millibuckets disappeared from there. And we'll notice that if we mouse over here on your temperature range, we have an active cooling rate now of 100 Kelvin per tick, right? So we're currently having a temperature of 2.3 million Kelvin-ish, right? The temperature change is currently 28,000 Kelvin per tick, going up, right? So a positive 28,000, which is cool. And our cooling rate is at 2%. All your goal here really is to get that percentage as close to 100 as you can. And that's all there really is to it. It's really kind of simple, which is like, you know, I'm down with that. Now, you can put these active coolers kind of wherever you want on the ring. However, there's a huge boost that you get from putting them opposite other coolers. So by having one cooler here, and then this is the opposite corner, and if we put a cooler on the bottom, because this one's on top, so the opposite corner on the bottom, we would find that we have an even better little setup here. So let's do that. Let's get our sink placed, and then on the down can be extract, and on the up can be insert only. Cool. And now we'll notice instead of you know, like the 4%, which is like what we would expect, it's like 16%. Right? Now you'll notice that our temperature change is not really different, right? It's still 27,000 RF a tick, right? So if I popped another one of these dudes, let's do 2 more of these. I want to say, oops, wrong thing. I want to say 7 is the magic number to be at 100%. Okay, so that should bump me up to 20%, right? Because it's 2% per active cooler when they don't have a mirror, right? So if that was going that way, I would think that this would be this way, right? Boop, boop. And that should be a pretty serious cooling rate. All right, cool, 48%, nice. That's not bad. So maybe it's more than 7. Maybe I need a few more active coolers. Give me like 10 more of those dudes, right? So that's 50%. But our temperature change isn't really different, is it? All the cooling does is keep it cool as it approaches the perfect temperature for the fuel that's in there. So when you get it to 100%, you'll know that as it approaches the ideal temperature, for which hydrogen is 4430, it'll cool down more and kind of stop at that temperature threshold, which is neat, right? So that's pretty cool. So let's get 1, 2 going here, and that should give you like 50-something 2%. Yes. And then you guys can go here. There you are. And that should be going pretty good. 80%. Nice. All right. So like a couple more and we'll be good. Right? Just a couple more. Now the problem is that's where I've got my flux point dudes, but I think we can work around that. I could put some on the bottom of this ring and the top of that one, but then I'd have to have like more sinks, and that would just be like, eh. How's my active coolers coming along? Oh good, you're done already. Sweet. So this should be 52-ish, or 82-ish, I mean. And then the opposite of this one would be this one, right? So like we would realistically want you here. 96. Nice. So now what we want is 100, right? So let's do... What I'm going to do is I'm going to do one here that doesn't really fit. And that should be 98%. Okay? And then I'll do another here. And that should be 100% cooling. Beautiful. Beautiful. 5,000 Kelvin per tick active cooling rate, and that's 100%. That's the number we're looking to get to, right? So now what will happen is, as we approach that 4 million, which is the perfect temperature for hydrogen, it'll slow down its temperature change to the point where it won't go beyond 100% efficiency. And that's what we want to see. So let's just give this a few minutes and see what happens. So just for fun, what I want to do is experiment with this a little bit. So on the east, I'm going to turn you active with signal. And on the down, I'm going to turn you active with signal. So now we're not pumping water into the coolers anymore. So now if we tick accelerate this, let's see what the temperature changes do. Right now, the temperature change is 18.8. At some point, the water is going to drain out of these guys. You can see it on the tooltip up top there. So if we see this 18.4, 18.3, 23. Okay, so see how 23 is the temperature change now? Cool. So like obviously as it gets hotter, it resists getting hotter on its own. But you know, cooling it too soon will slow down the rate at which it gains heat, like which makes sense, right? Not a lot, but enough. But let's see what happens as we approach the 100% mark. Oh, tick acceleration. Is there nothing you can't do? Oh, it's a good time for sure. I had to put a second export on the top of this one because this is the one I can tick accelerate because it's got the flux point on it, right? So, I mean, that's a good time right there. We're at 90% efficiency, right? We're coming up on 400,000 buckets of hydrogen, so that's cool. So that's pretty awesome. And so right now we're generating right around 80,000 RF. Not bad, not bad. We still have some more temperature climbing to go. Our efficiency is only at 90%, so we'll see what happens in that last 10%. And you can see the temperature change is sitting around 9,000. And we'll see what happens once we hit that 4 million point. Now remember, well, I mean, we do have the active coolers placed. I don't think that's doing anything, right? Like the cooling is like nothing at this point. Because they're active coolers. They don't have any water in them. They're not cooling anything. So once we get to the 100% mark, we'll turn them on and see what happens with our temperature change stuff. All right, guys, we're back. So I did a little bit of crafting, just a few minutes here. Where are we at here? So you're actually doing pretty good on your radiation. Nice, we're in the orange zone. Now that's what's up. Radiation has definitely dissipated. It's a little bit rough in some areas because the radiation spreads across chunks, right? So that's pretty spiffy. But we're doing pretty good at this point, right? Our nuclear mishap is not, you know, so terrible at this point. Wow, we've got a lot of hydrogen stored. That's nice. How are you doing? Tick acceleration time. You're doing all right. So you're at 90% efficiency, right? We're getting close. I accidentally tick accelerated him too much and we ran out of hydrogen, and we lost a little bit of efficiency doing that. Be careful with the tick accelerator. But I figured while I'm waiting here, we might as well get ready to build something else, right? So if we looked at this straight across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's doable, right? So what I'll probably do here, right, is let's have one gap in between. Does that seem reasonable? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This should be the size of the next reactor, right? All right. So now all I'm doing is a little bit of exchanging gadgeting, and we have a nice area underneath here. Sweet. Oh man, I sometimes I just that exchanging gadget lines up just perfectly, and I'm like, man, that thing is cool. I am proud of that design. Anyway, let's get a second nuclear reactor going, shall we? What do you guys think? Oh, no, that's not bad. That's bad. I left you on a bad thing. We're okay. Nobody panic. Nobody panic. Everything's fine. We're all fine here. We have to be really careful around that nuclear reactor. Like, let's not do that again. What happened? What did that do? What did that do to you? You actually are okay? Did you lose some efficiency? You actually worked out okay. You did all right. So we definitely had some spillage of some really hot liquids, but we managed to recover pretty quickly. So I don't think we hurt too much. Do you tick accelerate on the top too? Nope, just bottom. Just the bottom center block can be tick accelerated. All right, everything's fine. That was a close one. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I've told you guys time and time again, I am going to do something bad. So did I lose that electromagnet? Because I need one more then. That shouldn't be too bad to produce. Man, each electromagnet does require quite a few resources, don't they? Look at all the crafting that goes into making one electromagnet. And I need 128 per fusion reactor. Some serious business. Tough alloys cooking up, making some advanced platings. There you go. Sweet. All right, so now we're cool. All right, so you're gonna go here, here, all around here, right? And then we can do, now were you guys tile entities? I always forget. I don't, you are, because you need power, right? So you have to be a tile entity. Yeah, invalid block. They have to be tile entities because they require power, right? You have to charge them with RF. There you go. Sweet. And then what we'll do is just have you, one more for the gap, one more for the gap. That's looking pretty good, right? Nice. Okay. And this is going to be my deuterium slash just making sure this is a little bit hard to visualize, but this is going to be my deuterium slash hydrogen line, right? Looking good. So the rings are good, just not powered. So we're going to want a handful of flux points. And what I had was tops and bottoms on all the sides. Got them going, right? Right, so you're going to be here. That got you going. Beautiful. And this should get all my magnets powered. So in a moment, they should all finish charging up, and we have a toroid size 2 ready to rock. Beautiful. All right, not too shabby. Now the thing is, we have 6 million buckets of deuterium at the moment, which is cool, but not, you know, millibuckets, 6 million millibuckets of deuterium, right? So it's 6,000 buckets of deuterium. Now my suspicion is that we're probably not making deuterium fast enough to keep that reactor going full time, but I really don't know. We only need 1 bucket every 150 ticks, right? But we're definitely not producing 1 bucket every 150 ticks, right? Because 150 ticks, well, actually, thinking about it, we might be, right? Because 150 ticks is what, almost 8 seconds, right? 20 ticks in a second, so yeah. So if we're burning a bucket's worth every 8 seconds, I mean, we're producing a bucket's worth every 8 seconds here, right? I would say, like, yeah, that's a bucket. That's a bucket. And we're not tick accelerating anything, right? So we're easily producing, how much are we producing in our fusion reactor here? We're producing a bucket's worth every 100 ticks, just from the fusion reactor. Okay, math time, right? If we're producing a bucket's worth of deuterium every 100 ticks, just from the reactor, plus we're producing more deuterium from the electrolyzers, right? Then I would say that we have more than enough deuterium production to do 1,000 every 150 ticks, right? So 1 bucket every 150 ticks. We're going to have way more deuterium than we need, right? Now that's going to produce a bucket of helium-3 every 150 ticks, right? And helium-3, we need a bucket every 200 ticks. So we should have no problem producing the amount of deuterium and helium that we need here, in theory. So what I'm thinking is, right? Wow, did I almost perfectly guess where that thing was? That is awesome. Okay, so let's just run straight over to here. I'm going to need some more conduits. All right, so what we want here then, you're going in on purple, right? So let's have you also extract on purple, right? And self-feed disabled, so that's cool. So you're extracting on purple, you're extracting on the magenta color, right? So we're gonna run the ender conduits here, which should be done crafting by now. Cool. Let's just make sure that we don't actually run into any of that stuff, because you're doing your own things. Right? So you up here, we're going to set you to prevent input overflow. What that means is that we're not going to fill both input tanks with the same fluid. So you're not going to, well, you are going to extract some things. But we'll deal with that in a minute. You're going to insert on purple. And what that should do is insert deuterium into one of the tanks. But it won't insert into the other tank. See? See how the other tank is not filling with deuterium? Because we clicked this button. Had I not clicked this button, it would have still filled up the second tank with deuterium. And then we would have had a deuterium-deuterium reactor. And that's not what we want, right? So now we insert on magenta, and we're getting hydrogen. Nice. That's cool. Right? So that's good, right? And then we want flux plug, and we want a point here. So this is a plug for adding energy to the network. For adding energy to the network, for removing energy from the network. Okay, so you go here. You're the generators. The point goes here. This is Direwell 20's network. And we should be pumping a ton of power into this thing. And the temperature is climbing. And once we hit 8,000 Kelvin, right? And by the way, we're using like 7 million RF a tick to do that. Boom! We've got fusion ignition. Now our efficiency is at 0, so we're not producing any RF yet. But now we've got deuterium and hydrogen climbing, and we've got helium-3. So now let's get our black hole tank set up. And we are totally running out of episode time, but what did I do? Did I put you in here by mistake? Yeah, totally. So I don't want you to actually connect to anything. So let's remove you for a sec so that this doesn't accidentally connect, right? And are you doing anything? I mean, you could really literally be nothing, right? And you guys are just all different colors. So let's make you yellow. Does that sound like a good number? Or color, I think? Yeah, I think so. So you should be doing nothing. You should have nothing in you at the moment. You're empty, right? You're going to insert on yellow. And you up here are going to extract on yellow. Always active. And that should drain my helium-3 that we're producing and dump it right into here. Booyah. And that means that you can now be reconnected because I just didn't want you connecting at all. Cool. And you on the west can be extract always active without an insert. And that gets you back to draining. Cool. Wrapping up point for sure. Direwell 20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Look, we're already producing lots of power here. Almost 200 RF a tick. See how it's climbing faster? Because remember, not only does this thing have more RF a tick generation, his optimal temperature is much lower. Right? His optimal temperature is at 1245 million Kelvin. So like we don't like we're gonna generate power a lot more quickly on this guy. And this one we'll have to turn back on our cooling once we hit efficiency 100. But we'll figure that out next episode. For now, Direwell 20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.